Welcome to episode 1 of Listen to This. I'm your host, Amac, and this month I have a interesting tale for you all. Let's step into the general nonsense for this month's episode of Listen to This. Keys and toilets. Working in retail is no easy feat, and customers like this, well, they don't exactly make it any easier. A woman literally flushed her keys down the toilet knowingly. Yeah, you heard that right. She knowingly flushed her keys down the toilet. And for the purposes of this story, she'll be known as Karen. Bet you didn't see that coming, huh? Anyway, it started off like a typical day. I went to work. I wanted to trade off with my counterpart who had been there all day, but I couldn't find her. So I asked a coworker, and I was told she was with a customer. I figured, I'll just start working while I wait for her. How long could it be? Not long. She walks up and she tells me she feels bad for the customer she was just helping. She informs me that the lady flushed her keys down the toilet. I was puzzled. Oh, she must not have noticed them until it was too late. That was a question I posed to my coworker. But no, she saw them in the toilet. But she thought this stupid little thing on her keychain would keep them from being flushed down this industrial toilet that, as my manager said, and I quote, she's seen it flush a small toddler-sized mummy's worth of toilet paper. There was no way some little rubber thing was going to save it. It's a little life jacket fighting an ocean whirlpool. You're probably going to die. Now, here's where I should also mention my coworker is probably a better human than I am, as she felt empathy and sympathy for this woman who saw her keys in the toilet and still flushed. But she saw her keys in the toilet. I, on the other hand, promptly declared that that was stupid. She had admonished me, claiming kindness for the woman who lost her keys and didn't want to stick her hand in the toilet with her pee in it. Well, I mean, at least it was her pee and not some stranger's pee. I mean, that would be way worse, in my opinion, to dunk your bare hand, into the toilet of some strange human being's pee. I don't think I'd ever feel clean again. Yuck. But my own? Well, yeah, I'll suck it up and get my own damn keys out of the toilet. Nonetheless, the keys were gone, and the woman was using our store phone to get some help. Because, her car keys and her house keys just went bye-bye. Down an industrial toilet into an interconnected septic tank system for the entire mall. They weren't coming back. She managed to get someone on the phone and left, waving to a set of my managers on her way out without saying anything to anyone else. I know this because I asked the managers, and that's what they told me. So that happened. And I imagine that right now you're probably sitting there listening to this, wondering where all the funny is, or how this is a memorable story. But let me tell you something. What if I told you it didn't end there? Because it should, right? She left. She waved goodbye. What else could be left? Well, a whole bunch. Strap yourself in for this one. Hours later, like 6 hours later or so, the sun has set. We're winding down for the night. It's just me, some part-timers, and our assistant store manager left in the building until close, which is about an hour away at this point. We're not crazy busy, not even by a long shot. It's slow, and we're just cleaning up for the night. There's about 4 or 5 of us in total. So my assistant store manager says she needs to use the bathroom. Nothing weird there at all. People need to pee. It happens. As the second in the store, I'm in charge until she returns from the bathroom. I mean, I'm thinking, at this point, what could possibly go wrong? I've got less than an hour in the store. She's going to be in the bathroom for 5-minute stops. Well, how bad could things get? Well, shit. I shouldn't have thought or said it out loud. No sooner did she go to the bathroom, but a woman approaches me, asking a question about the sign plastered on the window leading into the building. She claimed it said that the picture book on display here was about 4 for $30. I was confused. Because, I work in a store that doesn't sell food or clothing. We sell books. Typically. not an item you typically need more than one of. Like, no one goes to the store to buy 4 copies of one book unless you're a reseller or you're weird or collecting the book. Like, there's a reason. It's not normal. It's not like chips. Chips only last until you eat them or they get old. Eventually, well, you'll need more. Unless you destroy your books when you read them, 1 copy typically suffices. Sometimes 2, if you're buying one for a friend. But since it's not typical, there are never sales to purchase the same book multiple times. That's just weird. I tell her that it's probably not what she thinks it is in the politest way I can, which, like, if you've never worked in retail, you perfect the art of telling someone that they're a complete idiot without actually saying those words. Because those words, well, they get you fired, and, well, I like money. Kindly, I asked her to tell me what she's referring to, and she references the sign again and demands we check it, which we do. The sign says, on sale, $4.30. It's written like that under the pictures of multiple books, which is the date the book is published. Which I explained, though she claims it's confusing. I said the signs have been hanging for months, and, well, you're the only confused one. So, yeah. That's just a nice way of saying, it's you, lady. Karen asks for the picture book anyway, so I take her back inside to the children's section, which is where she found me in the first place. Now, here's the point where everything changes when I hand her the book. I assume that will be all of the conversation, unless she needs something else. What I'm not expecting is for her to demand to know if there's a manager in the building. So firmly and angry, by the way, in the tone that I was taken aback because I didn't think the signage was that big of a deal or that confusing, nor did I really blame her for misunderstanding it. But hey, people have gotten pissed at me over smaller things, so what do I know? I said, currently I'm the manager. She eyes me, like she doesn't believe me. Which, happened a lot at the time. I was either young or they thought I was just fucking with them so I don't have to get a real manager and get in trouble. Which is not true. If I could pawn a problem off on someone better suited to handle the issue, I will. Especially as someone who was only equipped to cover lunches at the time, I don't handle major issues. No, sir. So she demands someone higher than me. I said, well, the only other person higher than me is indisposed at the moment. She asks me if the woman is blonde, and well, I'm super worried at the moment because... What? Why do you know what my manager's looks like? How do you know that? Are you planning to hurt her? My mind is running a mile a minute thinking this woman might be here to do harm to her coworker. But she carries on telling me how rude the blonde manager was earlier when she was here, and now I'm super confused because if you were here earlier, why didn't we handle the issue then? Because, well, my managers are not ones to let issues just lie. I explained that was probably our ASM, which is Assistant Store Manager, and she demanded to speak to the person in charge of the entire building. I said, well, the store manager is not currently in. She's gone home for the day. But I can get you a number to call back tomorrow to try and speak with someone. She demanded to know if the SM matched the description, which it did, and she told me that the store manager was even less helpful than the ASM, and she wanted to make a formal complaint. I asked what exactly happened, and it turns out this is the woman who flushed her keys down the toilet. And this interaction goes on for a while, but the gist is that she's decided it's entirely our fault that her keys are gone, that we owe her for a new key fob, that we were unhelpful, and we didn't even bother to get a plumber to assist in getting her keys back. And at this point, my manager has returned and sees me trapped and looking probably terrified, and comes over to assist. Karen reams her for not even offering to get a plunger to get her keys back, to which my ASM responds by telling her that's not how plungers work. Because, they get rid of the stuff, they don't bring it back. It's not coming back. Not with the plunger's help. Thankfully, I managed to stop my snicker from completely escaping. Because, yeah, a plunger. What the hell did you think that was going to do? Plungers get rid of clogs by pushing them further. Do you think we have magic plungers that will only plunge things meant to be in the toilet, but not your precious keys? Keys, mind you, that you saw and chose to flush anyway. My ASM pointed out that she could have asked for help, but we didn't know anything about it until after it was too late. After she flushed. Karen said she offered, she didn't, to pay for a plumber. But as I've already pointed out, it's in the septic tank. Once it's in that septic tank sewer thing, It's there. And if you want it, well, they empty it every Monday morning at 7. Feel free to jump in. Bring a flashlight and a metal detector. Like, what? But hey, Karen, guess what? This could have been avoided if you just sucked it up and stuck your hand into your own pee and grabbed your keys. Also, pointed out by my 2 coworkers that were quickly informed of the story after she left, were wondering how the keys got in the toilet in the first place. Did she have them in her hand, her purse? Why were they out instead of safely tucked somewhere far away from the toilet bowl? I mean, I have yet to toss my keys into the toilet when I'm peeing, regardless of where I am. I mean, maybe that's just me and all my coworkers and everyone else I've literally told this story to. But wait, there's more. Yes, there is. Not only is she unhappy with both of us explaining that there was literally nothing we could do because the keys are gone, they're in the septic tank, and even if you could get them back, I doubt you'd want them right now. Just saying. Of course, since Karen isn't getting anywhere useful with us, she decides she wants to speak to corporate and report us. You know, typical Karen bullshit. My ASM offers her the number to call our district manager, a perfectly reasonable and valid response by my ASM, as this was literally the custom. It's part of the escalation process, that if the customer wants the number, we're required by company policy to hand it to them, or we're in trouble. And honestly, no one really has an issue with this policy. Corporate does their thing to make the customer happy, and we don't have to deal with it anymore. It's pretty much a win-win. However, Karen doesn't believe we're going to give her the real number. I say we because she refused the number from my ASM, so I offered to give it to her as well, but she refused it from me as well, despite both of us having the number on our person. She decreed to us that she would find it herself, and stormed off, leaving the ASM and I staring at each other in pure bewilderment. Because, well, this situation was super bewildering. Sure, we've had customers lose their shit on us before, but usually in the moment, not 6 hours later. And neither of us have ever had anyone believe we would give them a fake number before, so we were shocked and confused and debating what to do with this information. Ultimately, we decided to contact our store manager to see what they wanted to do. Because, well, that was a lot. But, while we were texting them, this Karen is still on the loose in our store. Because no, it doesn't end there either. She doesn't leave the store. She goes to the front registers. And at the front registers, she finds a very nice guy. We'll call him Dan. Dan works nights here, only nights here. He had no idea any of this happened, nor did he even know a customer flushed their keys, because until this event, well, it wasn't much of a story. So Dan is kindly minding his own business, cleaning up. He has a third shift kind of job he's got to get to after this, and he has a family to provide for. So he's a pretty chill dude. Very polite and sweet, and I tell you this to inform you that this poor guy had no idea what shitstorm was heading his way. Because he told us he started off the interaction normally, greeting the customer, and she gave him an attitude right off the bat, demanding the number for corporate, which, Dan doesn't have. And he can't leave the register to go get it from the office. So he's forced to just ask for the ASM, who then has to deliver it up front with the smuggest smile ever, and Dan being oh so confused by everything happening as, well, Karen has to take the number or continue to make a bigger ass out of herself than she already has. She takes the number and finally leaves the store. My ASM is cackling the entire time, and Dan is rushing to the edge of the registers demanding to know what did he miss. So we relay the info to the staff while contacting the store manager, who said we did all we could and went on confused herself because as the woman left the store, she gave no indication she was still distressed. She smiled and waved to them on her way out. In what world did that mean she blamed us or things weren't okay? Suffice to say, this Karen has become a legend that we all tell stories about. See you next month and listen on.